Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video on my channel, Hairliciously. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys are updated on hair loss and hair transplant topics. Visit my website at hairliciously.com to purchase your microneedling devices, which are scientifically proven to stimulate hair growth. My low-level laser therapy cap, hair growth vitamins, DHT blocking shampoo and serum, and a few other products for those who are suffering from hair loss. Some of the craziest hair transformations, and I'm talking like Nord 6 or Nord 7 to a Nord 2, are from individuals who are transitioning from male to female and are taking hormone replacement therapy. This obviously is not going to be for everybody, and it is more prevalent in transgender women, and I definitely would not recommend any of this for the average Joe who is simply trying to treat androgenic alopecia. But with that said, there are going to be men who are actually willing to go the hormonal route, hormonal replacement therapy such as estrogen or an estrogen analog, and combine it with anti-androgens like spironolactone or bicalutamide or 5-alpha reductase inhibitors like finasteride, dutasteride to crush endogenous testosterone levels despite developing female secondary sexual characteristics amongst other estrogenic side effects from androgenic deprivation. And as a result, we oftentimes see significant hair regrowth and sometimes even a complete reversal of hair loss using these treatments. It's obviously on the pretty extreme side of treating hair loss, but in more cases than not, hair reversal is very possible by altering the hormonal profile. And I think more importantly, this also shows that even the most severe cases of hair loss is still reversible despite years and years of balding and calcification. So I'm gonna be sharing with you guys a few examples to show the potency of the combination of hormone replacement therapy alongside with anti-androgens and their 5-ARs to show the possibility of the extent of hair loss reversal seen in many individuals who are undergoing therapy. This first guy was taking 25 milligrams Bicalutamide, or Bica for short, estradiol patch, 5% liquid minoxidil, and dermal once a week. His before photo shows some pretty extensive thinning that is situated on the crown and the mid-scalp. And in my opinion, without treatment, this guy's hair loss is very likely to progress into the temples, if it hasn't already, because we can't see it, and eventually take him to a Nord 6, Nord 7 in a matter of just years. And 4 months after said treatment, he incredibly, literally reversed his hair loss. We can see some significant density and hair growth with no signs of miniaturization. And this was actually just all in a span of just 4 months of treatment. He did mention in the post that he is also transitioning, so it makes sense for him to be on estradiol and Bica, which is a non-steroidal anti-androgen that has an affinity to androgen receptors, which therefore prevents endogenous androgens like testosterone and DHT from binding and causing havoc to the hair follicles. Bica is often used in androgen deprivation protocols, and while the binding affinity for androgen receptor is relatively weak compared to testosterone and DHT, the dose that Bica is typically prescribed is pretty powerful enough that it actually overpowers testosterone and DHT. And the other thing to note is that 150 milligrams of Bica typically increases testosterone levels by up to 97%, estrogen by up to 150%, and this oftentimes is what is going to lead to estrogenic side effects, with gynecomastia being a common occurrence. It does benefit transgender individuals to promote feminization, and because Bica as monotherapy doesn't really lower androgen levels, it can be a favorable anti-androgen for those who still want to preserve sexual function. But this person is also using estradiol in conjunction with Bica, so this will also suppress testosterone levels depending on the dosage, with some that can even be equivalent to surgical castration. So unless you are obviously transitioning from male to female, this treatment is going to be one of those extreme approaches. But at the same time, it's always fascinating to see that hair loss is reversible given the proper treatment. And I will say that there are men who are also not transitioning, that simply just want to deal with hair loss, that end up taking Bica in addition to anti-estrogens to try to lower the effects of feminization while reaping the benefits of Bica by inhibiting the androgen receptor upregulation and activation. And hair loss has been able to be reversed with some slight reduction of side effects. So this next example I want to share is a guy who was taking 4 months of bicalutamide with minoxidil. His before photo shows some pretty advanced hair loss all throughout his scalp. His hairline is obviously non-existent. His mid-scalp is nearly bald, and the crown region has just been decimated due to the excess androgens. And he's basically at a Nord 7 at this point. And then miraculously, 4 months later, we can see some incredible and unbelievable growth. This is a complete 180-degree reversal of hair loss. His crown still looks a little bit weak, but this is no doubt a huge transformation from where he started before treatment. And it's just really incredible to see how much growth that is possible from taking Bica. Finasteride or dutasteride and Minoxidil, obviously it's not going to give you this much growth in most cases, but taking Bica has definitely worked out for this guy, and he seems pretty content, as would most people who would basically literally reverse hair loss. This guy isn't transitioning from male to female, and he's simply using Bica to treat hair loss. But I personally couldn't picture myself going this extreme route simply to get hair. If you guys didn't know, Bica is also used as chemotherapy to treat advanced prostate cancer, and I honestly don't think it's going to be suitable or sustainable to be used long-term, because you're either going to destroy your liver, to some extent suffer from feminizing effects, since this guy isn't taking any anti-estrogens. And some studies also indicate higher risks of heart failure as a consequence of androgen deprivation, as well as a possibility of sexual dysfunction. So, there are risks that you need to be aware of, and I think most people do not go to this extreme to treat hair loss. Most people would simply stick with finasteride or dutasteride, Minoxidil, microneedling, or maybe RU-5881 as an anti-androgen. But treading uncharted territory, especially long-term simply to treat hair loss, I think isn't something most people are willing to risk. Now, this last example that I wanted to share with you is also another transgender who was taking oral estradiol with finasteride and Minoxidil for 1 whole year. This is what he looked like before treatment, full hairline and mid-scalp recession. And I would probably place him around the Nord 5. And then 3 months into his hormone replacement therapy, we can start to see the mid-scalp with some improved density and growth. And then on month 4, we continue to see better improvement to his hair, and it even looks like he obtained some pretty good coverage. Month 5, same thing, improved hair density, and we can see some gyno in this photo of him in the dress, which is a direct result of him taking estrogen, which is causing feminizing effects to take place. And it is a pretty common occurrence for those who are actually taking estrogen. Month 6 shows maybe a Nord 3 hairline, which is some pretty significant improvement for just 6 months of treatment. And we further see some more of the gyno taking into effect as the breasts are getting bigger and bigger. And then fast forward to finally 12 months of said treatment. This has resulted in a complete reversal of hair loss, not surprisingly, all thanks to his estrogen and finasteride in inhibiting testosterone conversion into DHT. And he definitely looks way more feminine due to some of the round and more softer features of his face. Now, chances are, if I saw this person out on the street, I probably wouldn't even know that this person had transitioned. And I think this is the powerful effect of estrogen and hormone replacement therapy. When it comes to treating hair loss, it can work wonders, and even reverse hair loss in the the worst cases of people suffering from androgenetic alopecia. But when you look at the side effects of feminization, especially if you are not transitioning and if you don't want to get man boobs, I think it's not even worth it, depending on the specific type of treatment. So at the end of the day, there are treatments that do work in reversing hair loss, as seen from some of the hormone replacement therapy treatments like Bicalutamide, estrogen, spironolactone. And I think, ultimately it comes down to weighing the pros and cons and how much you guys are willing to get your hair back. Most people are going to be hesitant and they wouldn't go this extreme by taking hormone replacement therapy. But there are people who will give it all simply for hair and risk their, their health. Luckily for the majority of people though, people who are on finasteride or dutasteride are going to help stabilize hair loss, and oftentimes they simply get hair transplants to increase density in areas that otherwise wouldn't be possible with mainstream hair loss treatments. Others look into experimental anti-androgens like CB0301, RU-5881, or estrogen with mixed results. But it's always interesting to see, different treatments that can reverse hair loss. And while I wouldn't ever go this route, it's also educational to learn about different treatments and how it actually affects hair growth. That's all I have for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, make sure to leave some comments. If you like this type of content, give it a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Take care.